There was a tape recording in which Stephen Harper, it's all the Chuck Cadman affair, remember that, and Stephen Harper visited Chuck Cadman's widow, and after visiting there and Chuck Cadman, Stephen Harper came out and gave an interview to a Vancouver author talking about a financial deal if Chuck Cadman would vote with the Tories to bring down the Martin government. Now, the author who recorded it claims in a book the Conservatives offered Cadman, the late MP, a big life insurance policy in return for helping bring down the if he would help bring down the minority government in 2005. Prime Minister Harper claimed the tape was doctored and he has sued the Liberals. Now, a court-ordered analysis has found that parts of the tape stopped and started, but the part dealing with the insurance policy was not altered. Joining us now from British Columbia, the man behind the tape, author Tom Zytaruk. Tom, how do you feel tonight? It's been your contention all along that yours is a true recording.
Well, I'm tempted to say I told you so, Mike, but of
yeah,
course I'm happy
well, you
that
did.
This has come. I might say one thing, though. I hope to see James Moore on your show later tonight. I'm hoping he'll be a guest because I'd like to see that guy eat crow right about now.
Because he said that there were stops and starts. Now, to be honest,
well, with that press conference in June about tape doctoring, I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But in the analysis that was filed in the court today, they do say, and I don't think you ever contradicted this, that the tape did start and stop. But the critical part that I think goes in your favor is that it says the section dealing with insurance was all of one piece.
Yes, well, Mike, again, the entire tape, which has been analyzed here, it is again the interview in its entirety, and as I've said, that with that stop and start portion of the tape, said all along. When I was interviewing Mr. Harper on the driveway there, I thought that he'd finished with me and was heading back to his vehicle, and he in fact turned around to add to what he was saying, like an afterthought, and of course the tape goes back on. So
you're feeling pretty good tonight?
Well, sure. It's not.
Has there been any attempt to settle the case out of court with you by the Conservatives? Or I guess they're actually suing the Liberals.
I have no idea. Okay. I'm not named as a party to the suit. Let me just say that and clarify that you were mentioning earlier that this is a claim in my book. Donald Cadman had told me this. I went to Mr. Harper and spoke with him about it and put his comments verbatim in my book. What's between the Conservatives and Liberals, I guess, is subsequent the fallout to that.
Right. Remind us again the title of the book. It's a biography of Chuck Cadman, who was a truly remarkable MP.
Like a Rock, the Chuck Cadman story.
You can still get it in the bookstores.
Yes.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate the
Happy
update.
Thanksgiving.
You too. Let's now go to Toronto, where the Prime Minister's Press Secretary, Corey Tanaik, is standing by. Mr. Tanaik, I don't know if I'd say I'm drowning, but there's an awful lot of paper here and legal analysis. You've heard what the author says. What does this do to affect the Prime Minister's lawsuit against the Liberal Party, if anything?
Well, it's very helpful to our case because we now have another audio expert who's saying that what we've said all along, that this tape does not represent the full interview with the Prime Minister. So it's actually very helpful for our case and supports what we've been saying all along.
But the experts seem to say that the section dealing with Mr. Harper's comments about an insurance policy were in fact intact.
Well, look, Mr. Zytaruk has maintained throughout and just said again that he thinks this tape represents the full interview, while we have yet another audio expert that confirms what we're saying, which it isn't. You know, it's helpful to what we're saying, Mike, and I think the person who has some explaining to do tonight is Mr. Zytaruk. He's been saying this is a full interview. This audio expert says part of this interview was rewound and re-recorded over, and then it was paused in another case, in another point in the tape. So, you know, I think he's blowing his credibility with what's come out with this report. So very helpful for us.
Remind us again what the lawsuit is against the Liberals. You're saying that they've libeled the Prime Minister by talking about this. Is that what it is?
That's correct. Well, they accused the Prime Minister of a criminal act, which is very libelous, and that's what the case is about.
Okay, and it's still going on. Hasn't been resolved one way or another.